What's up, guys? This is Showtime's Fight Forum. I'm your boy Showtime. Please follow me on social medias. Thank you for tuning in. Always got to say thank you. Today's talk gonna be a recap of UFC 262. I said 162. I don't know why I said that on the previous video, but man, I'm not gonna lie. I was terrible. All right, I was awful with my predictions, except the main event. The main event, I was fire. But I can't sit here and act like I was right about the other ones. Shane Burgos versus Edson Barboza, which we all knew was gonna be fire, was freaking fire. I was very scared for Shane Burgos. Like, honestly, I don't really get too worried about the fighters after like getting knocked down, things of that nature. But that was probably one of the scariest situations I've seen in a while, outside of like, Chris Weidman snapping his leg. That was like, I've never seen nobody get knocked out that late after a punch. Like like I said, it was very scary. So hopefully Shane Burgos is good. He is a warrior, but he does eat a lot of shots. His last two fights, he's gotten beat up pretty bad. So hopefully he's good and he's able to compete, again. But if I was UFC, I probably wouldn't have him fight for the rest of the year. I would get that brain checked out because that was, like I said, terrifying. Caitlin Chookagian, I wasn't that impressed with the fight, but she looked solid. Vivian was gassed. And I honestly think if Caitlin wanted to push the pressure in the second round, she very well could have got the finish. I just don't really care for her, man. I don't really necessarily mind people that don't finish people too much. Like, I'm not that big of a stickler. Like, you better finish people. But man, it's like, can you at least seem like you about to do it? Like, I don't know. I knew it was gonna go to decision if she was gonna win. I don't know. It just was boring. But again, still, she looked good. We obviously don't need to see her fight Valentina again. There kind of no challengers at 125. I don't know. It's really going to take somebody from 115 to bump up to 125 to like one of the champions, not just somebody, a champion to bump up for us to be interested in another Valentina fight, at least for me to be interested. But yeah, so those two fights, it was cool. And man, I was completely wrong about Tony Ferguson and Beneil Dariush. Granted, I said he's been on a streak, man. He's hot. He's been good. But man, Tony Ferguson, I have to admit, man, at one point I didn't really see what everybody else was saying as far as Tony Ferguson is washed. But you gotta just be honest, man. Tony Ferguson, he's not the same. He's not the El Kukui anymore. He's just El. He's not that guy. It sucks to say, but I still love Tony Ferguson. He's a madman. He's a psychopath. But bruh, that was a terrible showing. Your wrestling takedown. What was that? You're a former wrestler. I've never Charles Oliveira. I'll give you a slide for getting taken down by him because Charles actually has really good takedowns for a person that's not a wrestler. I'm not to say Beneil doesn't have good takedowns either, but bro, you was getting taken down with almost every shot. It wasn't impressive. Beneil, I would say I'm impressed, but I've seen this happen to Tony Ferguson in his last fight, so it's hard for me to be like really that much like to be impressed. Like, you look good, cool, you won, but there could have been a better showing for him. Obviously, he's gonna need another fight in order to even be in the conversation for a title shot. People were saying Gaethje, but I don't really think Gaethje is a good fit. And also, I heard that they're really close, so that's probably not going to happen. But he definitely needs to fight somebody in the top 5. Maybe the loser of the Dustin Poirier-Conor McGregor fight, possibly. But yeah, it was a good fight. Good fight for him. He did well. Tony Ferguson, you're a psychopath for not tapping to that knee lock. I don't know what is like. I wish I could be as tough as Tony. I need to be as tough as Tony Ferguson. I don't really think there's too many people in the world that are tougher than Tony Ferguson. Something is wrong with that man mentally. Because what he got put in with Beneil and also Charles Oliveira, for him not to tap, is crazy. He is genuinely crazy. But yeah, I don't really know what's next for Tony, man. If I was the UFC personally, I'm probably giving him a fight that is not in the top 15. I'm probably gonna give him somebody that has potential to be good, but not there yet, but need a signature win. Probably would give him that to see, get Tony a winnable fight. And get him back on a win streak because now that's 3 in a row. And if he loses another one, he might have to get cut, which is crazy to think that Tony Ferguson is like on a borderline of being cut now after, losing to Gaethje, was going to get him a title shot, to losing Charles Oliveira, who did get a title shot, to now losing to Beneil Dariush. So it's crazy. But what I really want to talk about, the thing that I care about the most, was the main event. One, I am going to brag. I told you guys this is how the fight was going to go. Not necessarily, obviously, with the knockout. I thought it was going to be a submission, but I pretty much told you everything else that was going to happen. And before I even talk about the fight, I want to break down how happy I am for Charles Oliveira. Man, I've been a fan. I've been saying this. I've been a fan for 10 years. If you've been a UFC fan and you've been following Charles Oliveira's career, there's no way you weren't happy for this guy. I mean, he's come from the ghettos. That's what literally Du Bronx means, of the Bronx, which is the ghetto of where he's from. To come from humble beginnings and to see that raw talent from his start in the UFC, to say this dude has what it takes to be a champion one day, to finally seeing it happen. It's like honestly reading a story, character development, because at the end of the day, Charles has a very strong character development. At one point, I forgot what the illness was, but I think they was saying that he at one point said he was never going to walk again. And from coming from there to, once again, being from the hood, from the ghetto in Brazil, which is crazy, and honing his skills as a jiu-jitsu practitioner, to work on his kickboxing, and then make it to the UFC to be the youngest man on the roster, become 14-0. Everybody's like, this man is going to be world champion. But like most stories, things don't always have a happy, a happy middle, beginning, and end. He started to lose, and he started to lose a lot. The dude at one point was 7-7 in his fights in the UFC. By the end of 2017, his last 6 fights, he was 2-4. That is on the bearings of getting cut, to being on Bellator, being at ONE FC, another organization. And once again, this guy who started off 14-0. So it's like, at one point, people started giving up on him. It's like, dang, man, he's not going to get it. He's not getting it. Mentally, he's just not there. He gives up sometimes. Physically, he has everything you need. He's tall, he's lanky, he has power, he has decent cardio, he has great jiu-jitsu, but mentally, he's just not there. And then something clicked. We don't know what it is. Maybe one day he'll open up and tell what it was and what happened in his life that completely changed his life forever. After that Paul Felder fight, this man has finished every single fighter he's fought except Tony Ferguson, who I just mentioned is insane. That is amazing. And that's not like he hasn't fought that many fights. He's fought 9 fights in a row now that he's won. 8 of them has been finishes. This guy's a killer. And throw those 8 fights before his championship fight with Michael Chandler, he's dominated everybody. It's not like these fights have been really relatively close. He's been dominant. And that's when people were saying, all right, well, we know he's finally, put it all together, but mentally, he hasn't faced adversity yet. He's been killing everybody. Today was that day. That night was that night for him to finally show everybody, I have the heart to be a world champion. And I felt like this fight kind of summarized his whole career. There were ups, there were downs, but he still fought through. That fight was fun. That fight was amazing. That was a great first round. One of the best first rounds you've seen this year. Michael Chandler is a dog. We knew he was going to come there. I knew that was going to happen. I told people, Michael Chandler closed the distance better than almost any lightweight. There's not too many that can close the distance better. He's so explosive. He has power. At first, by the way, I thought the fight was going to be over when he went for guillotine. That choke was very close. So I'm like, oh, man, come on. I need more of the fight. I told you, I didn't want that fight to happen in just the first period. I want that fight to go into the second and third. I want to really get a gist of this fight. He got out, and then he took him down. I'm like, uh-oh. Now, Michael Chandler's in trouble. I really never seen him on his back too much. He gave up his back. Now Charles Du Bronx is on his back. All right, now is he going to get choked out? Now it's going to get what I said was going to happen. He really was going to get submitted with a rear naked. But that's not what happened. He's reversed him, kind of like how Anthony Pettis did Charles Oliveira, where he could just spin over and be on top. Got out, and then, man, started unleashing those bombs. And I told you, he was going to hurt him. At the end of the day, Michael Chandler he's one of the best power punchers in that division in the world. It doesn't matter what organization you go to. He can punch hard. We saw that. But I told you, Charles has 2 options. He's either going to crumble or he's going to show that he's a new fighter. He showed everybody that he is a new fighter. He's not what 2017, 2016. He's no longer that fighter. He now can overcome adversity. He got hurt. He pulled guard. He survived, and we saw what happened in the second round. Picture perfect hook and went for the kill. I'm so happy for that man, and congratulations to that dude. I honestly wish him nothing but success going forward, and I hope that he can have a couple title defenses. And he obviously has holes that he needs to fix as far as getting punched. You know, he doesn't move his head too much, but man, he's a dog, man. He has very few flaws. But yeah, so now the thing would be what's next for both fighters. When it comes to Charles Oliveira and also Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler, simple and plain, fight Justin Gaethje. That is the fight that everybody needs to see. Michael Chandler is very chinny, so it does seem like, you know, that is a good fight for Justin Gaethje to win. But, bruh, Michael Chandler can easily hurt Justin Gaethje. Like, let's not act like Justin Gaethje isn't a hittable dude as well. So, once again, that's the fight that needs to be made. I don't even think there needs to be a discussion. They're going to have a meeting tomorrow or Tuesday or whatever day they're going to have it. And they need to have a full-on discussion of saying, I mean, they don't even have a full-on discussion. They'll be like, hey, Gaethje, Chandler, cool. Let's get it done. And let's move on. Charles Oliveira, that's, in my opinion, very simple, too. He needs to fight the winner of Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor. Whoever wins that fight needs to fight Charles Oliveira, and we move on, and then we'll have a fun fight. And people are sleeping on that fight, and I can't wait to break down if it is Dustin Poirier and Charles Oliveira, because I think people are sleeping on Charles Oliveira a little too much. But I do kind of hope that's the fight, because that fight's going to be a little bit more fun, in my opinion, than the Conor McGregor fight. But once again, we have to see how that fight unfolds first before we talk about Charles Oliveira fighting him. But that's all I have for this episode. Thank you guys for tuning in. And I want to know what you guys think about these matchups. Do you think Charles Oliveira should fight Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier, or do you think he should fight someone else? Let me know. But thank you guys. Subscribe and all that good stuff. Be blessed.